Hi, I'm Steve Bogart, and welcome to this edition of Bogart on Movies. The first movie I want to talk about today is one that could garner another Oscar nomination for Anthony Hopkins as Alfred Hitchcock in the movie Hitchcock. I really liked this film, but I loved Anthony Hopkins. Here's a clip with Hopkins as Hitchcock inviting the press to lunch to tout his new movie, Psycho.
All of us harbor dark recesses of violence and horror. Fascinating, isn't it? When the Wisconsin Police Department raided Mr. Gein's farm, they opened the door and voila, they discovered 10 female heads with the tops sawn off. Pass these around, would you, and have a look. Masks of human skin, a pair of lips on a drawstring for a window shade. Oh, yes, in a jug containing human noses.
Is this really going to be your next picture, Mr. Hitchcock?
Well, that is my intention, yes, madam. My only wish is that Ed Gein looked a little more like William Holden instead of Elmer Fudd. By the way, try the finger sandwiches. They're real fingers.
Bloody hell.
How much fun was that? And yes, the Edward Gein Hitch is talking about in the clip is the same cannibal serial killer you saw in The Silence of the Lambs. And he was Hitchcock's inspiration for Psycho. But if you're looking for blood and guts, car chases, things blowing up, lots of guns and edge-of-your-seat thrills, this film isn't for you. This one's all about fine performances. Here's Scarlett Johansson as Janet Leigh, being offered the job by Hitchcock and his wife, Alma, played by the wonderful Helen Mirren.
I do have a concern or two. Well, I'm an actress, of course, but I'm first a wife and a mother. And I'm just curious to know, how are you going to shoot this shower scene?
Yes, you in the Sherlock office.
It's only that, well, from here up, I'm not exactly boyish, so...
Allow me to set your mind at rest, my dear. I will be shooting short bits of film from various angles. Cut together, the montage will only suggest nudity, suggest violence. Nothing will actually be shown. But of course, having you in the shower will make it all that more, well, titillating.
You excuse me.
Now, the critics complain that Hopkins' performance is just a load of prosthetics that make him look the part. But I disagree. He is Hitchcock. Mirren, Scarlett, Danny Huston, and Jessica Biel are all so wonderful. So if what you're looking for is some fine acting and a really fun movie, go see Hitchcock. I promise you won't be disappointed. I give it a pretty good 3.5 out of 5. Now we turn to another brilliant performance, this time by English actress Keira Knightley in the adaptation of the Leo Tolstoy classic Anna Karenina. It took a lot of guts for director Joe Wright to try and turn a novel William Faulkner called the best ever written into a movie. And although it missed in parts, Knightley's brilliance and a wonderful performance by Jude Law make this movie work. Here's a clip of Knightley as Anna confessing to her husband, played by Law, that she's having an affair.
I have to tell you.
Yes.
I have to tell you, you behaved improperly today.
How is that?
By making plain your feeling when one of the riders fell. Your conduct was improper. It must not occur again. I have said it before. You will say my concern is unnecessary and ridiculous. You are my wife. I'm wrong to think that. Yes. Perhaps I was mistaken.
No. You were not mistaken. I love him. I am his mistress.
I really like period pieces like this, almost as much as Kira seems to. And I admit I wasn't sure if I'd like this one, but although I had to get past the weird staging by Wright, kind of a play within the movie, I got into it. Backdrop of mid-1870s Russia, Knightley's performance, the whole spectacle. Take this clip from A Big Dinner, where the discussion turns to love and honor.
I hear Vasya Pryachnikov fought a duel with Kwitsky and killed him.
What was the challenge about?
Pryachnikov's wife, naturally.
A matter of honor, defending a woman's honor.
Sounds like barbarism to me. What if the lover had killed the husband? Would that have preserved the wife's honor too?
Still, not many of us can say our lover died for love.
Love, thou shalt not covet thy neighbour's wife.
Would you die for love, Konstantin Dmitrovich?
I would, but not for my neighbour's wife. No. An impure love is not love to me. To admire another man's wife is a pleasant thing, but sensual desire indulged for its own sake is greed, and a misuse of something sacred, which is given to us so that we may choose the one person with whom to fulfill our humanness. Otherwise, we might as well be cattle.
Ah, an idealist.
Yes, it may be a bit slow at times, but in the end, the story, the costumes, the era, the whole cast made this a movie I ended up liking. I'll give it a 3, which isn't bad. Next up, a movie for the whole family, and it is definitely in the Oscar hunt. It's Universal Pictures' adaptation of the mega-hit Broadway musical, which was adapted from the Victor Hugo novel of the same name, Les Miserables. Star of the film is Hugh Jackman. He plays Jean Valjean, the released prisoner who could absolutely get a nomination. Russell Crowe is the Inspector Javert, who's dedicated to putting Valjean back in prison.
Now, prisoner 24601, your time is up and your parole's begun. You know what that means?
Yes, it means I'm free.
No. Follow to the letter your itinerary. This badge of shame you'll show it till you die. It warns you're a dangerous man.
I stole a loaf of bread. My sister's child was close to death. We were starving.
You'll starve again unless you learn the meaning of the law.
Know the meaning of those 19 years. A slave of the law.
5 years for what you did. The rest because you tried to run. Yes, 24601.
My name is Jean Valjean.
And I'm Javert. Do not forget my name. Do not forget me. 24601.
Look down, you'll always be a slave. Look down, you're standing in your grave.
Anne Hathaway, a definite nominee and the possible Oscar winner, is young Cosette's mother turned prostitute.
Yes, it's true. There's a child, and the child is my daughter. And her father abandoned us, leaving us flat. Now she lives with an innkeeper man and his wife, and I pay for the child. What's the matter with that?
At the end of the day, she'll be nothing but trouble. And there's trouble for all, and there's trouble for one. While we're earning our daily bread, she's the one with her hands in the butter. You must send the salt away, or we're all gonna end in the gutter, and it's us who have to pay. At the end of the day,
I might have known the bitch could bite. I might have known the cat had claws. I might have guessed your little secret. Ah, yes, the virtuous Fantine, who keeps herself so pure and clean. You'd be the cause, I had no doubt, of any trouble hereabout. You play a virgin in the light, but need no urging in the night.
she's been laughing at you while she's laughing at me. She'll be nothing but trouble again and again. You must sack her today. Sack the girl today.
Right, my girl, on your way.
Monsieur le Maire! Monsieur le Maire! Monsieur le Maire! Monsieur le Maire!
Hey, hey!
I have a child!
Hathaway is terrific, and don't be surprised by Russell Crowe's singing. He's always been into music and was the lead singer of his band 30 Odd Foot of Grunts. Not the best voice, but I love the fact that he's got the guts to tackle the role. The movie also features Eddie Redmayne, My Week with Marilyn, Helena Bonham Carter, and Sacha Baron Cohen. Yep, Borat. This is entertainment with a lot of talent. Great for the whole family. It is a musical, and one you should put on your must-see list. Now here's one at your theaters which probably will not be in the Oscar lineup. Even if it does give an outside shot to Bill Murray at a nomination, director Roger Mitchell's Hyde Park on Hudson. It's about President Franklin Roosevelt's relationship, which turned to an affair, with his cousin, Margaret Suckley, played by Laura Linney. And it's also about one weekend in 1939, just before the beginning of World War II, when England's King George VI and Queen Elizabeth come to FDR's home for the weekend.
Is my wife behaving herself?
Yes.
Has my mother calmed down?
She's fine.
It's like a madhouse.
Don't worry. All's quiet on the upstairs front. He's definitely younger than I'd imagined. For a king, you know?
Is he?
They both seem nervous. That surprised me.
Without some help from us, Daisy, there soon might not be an England to be king of. So I'd be nervous too.
Now, Murray looks to be very good as FDR, as does Linney as Margaret. And there are some funny moments. It's supposed to be something of a comedy after all. But the movie seems to me like it's just going to be boring, like it's just going to sit there. I'll watch it, but I'm going to wait until it comes on cable. To me, just doesn't seem like it'll be worth the $10. I'll be back in a moment with a look at a classic on Bogart on Movies.
On PBS, it's a stunning new season, starting with the impossible to resist Downton Abbey.
Nothing succeeds like excess.
An engrossing story of defiance and courage from American experience.
It is not light that is needed, but fire.
And a series filled with role models for all women.
We were breaking new ground.
This season, there's only one place that can take you any place.
Isn't it wonderful?
For a classic movie pick this week, take a look at 1957's gritty, in the proverbial gutter, Sweet Smell of Success. I love this movie. It stars Burt Lancaster. I fell for him as an actor when I saw him in his brilliant Oscar-winning role as Elmer Gantry. He stars in this film as uber-powerful New York gossip columnist J.J. Hunsaker, and Tony Curtis as the scraping-the-bottom press agent Sidney Falco. If you had any doubt about Tony Curtis's talent, you won't after you see this movie. And Lancaster, well, he was Lancaster at his best.
May I ask you a naive question, Mr. Falco? Exactly how does a press agent work?
Well, answer the man, Sidney. He's trying to take you off the hook.
You just saw a good example of it, Senator. A press agent eats a columnist's dirt and is expected to call it manna.
But don't you help columnists by furnishing them with items?
Sure. A columnist can't do without us, except our good and great friend JJ forgets to mention that. You see, we furnish him with items.
What, some cheap, gruesome gags?
You print them, don't you?
Yes, with your clients' names attached. That's the only reason the poor slobs pay you, to see their names in my column all over the world. Now I make it out you're doing me a favor?
I didn't say
The day I can't get along without a press agent's handouts, I'll close up shop and move to Alaska lock, stock, and barrel.
The movie revolves around Falco, whose business is failing, whose clients are dwindling, and who will do anything to get back on top. He can't get his clients into Hunsaker's gossip column. Falco is done, so he agrees to do some real dirty work for Hunsaker, to set up the boyfriend of Hunsaker's sister, that's jazzman Steve Dallas, to break the two up. By the way, you'll recognize Steve Dallas. He's played by Martin Milner, who you'd see later on TV as Pete Malloy in Adam 12. Remember? One Adam 12, one Adam 12. Those of us a little older would also remember him as Todd Stiles in the TV series starring Broderick Crawford, Route 66.
Looks like a wedding. You look lovely, dear.
Steve, you've met my brother?
Of course. Frank? Well, son, looks like you went out and got a packet of trouble for yourself, hmm?
You've been very kind about it, Mr. Hunsaker.
Give Susie credit for that. I took her word there was nothing to the smear. As a matter of fact, I'll have plenty to say about smears on my show today. And that's why I'd like your personal assurance, too.
Mr. Hunsaker, there is nothing to the smear. You have my sincere word.
I'll buy that. Now, you do me a favor. Be good to my kid sister.
Yeah, she's had a lot of trouble for a kid.
Susie has her girlish secrets. But in her heart of hearts, I imagine, Dallas, she fancies you in an uncommon way.
And there are a couple of cameos to look for as well. Famous American playwright and co-screenwriter Clifford Odets, who also went before Congress in 1952, as did my father, during the Senator Joe McCarthy-led communist witch hunt hearings. He stars as a man outside a theater. Odets also, by the way, had an affair with Fay Wray of King Kong fame. There she is. Talk about film noir, this is one of the best. And my favorite, best line?
I like Harry, but I can't deny he sweats a little.
Don't try to come back or I'll throw you out again.
Just a minute, my heart's in here and I paid you. Leave him alone! Leave him alone!
I love this dirty town.
J.J. Hunsaker, Burt Lancaster, I love this dirty town. Lancaster does it a lot better than I do. Great line, great stuff, great movie. Now it's time to hear from you, the viewer. Gerda in Delray asks, why do so many stars get involved in politics? Why should we care what they say? Well, Gerda, who was it that said, I may not agree with what they say, but I'll defend with my life their right to say it? That's the way I feel. We don't really need to care what they say. We don't need to take it to heart, but we have to defend their right to say it so they can say what they want. As to why they get involved in politics, why does anybody? Everybody has opinions, stars, show business people, just the same as everyone else. Meredith in Boca says it costs too much to go to the movies. A lot of people can't afford it. That's true. To get more people to go, why can't they lower prices? Meredith. A trip to the movies is like 2 fast food meals. Have you ever been to a baseball game in the middle of the season? It costs $150 for 2 people, including food, and you're sitting there bored half the time. This is great entertainment, $10 a person. You can't beat it. It's not too expensive if you like good entertainment, and movies are exactly that. If you want to ask me about movies, or you have something to say about them, just write me at stevebogart@wxel.org. Now it's time for Carla's Campy Pics. Here's one that made me laugh. It's called The Creature from the Haunted Sea. Watch the guy who looks just like and mimics my father. Except this guy has no talent and went nowhere.
How much Jack do you think's in that strong rock?
There's plenty of Cuban sugar, though.
Here's what happened. The general beat his friend Castro to the Cuban treasury. The strongbox is now on this boat. So are a deported American gangster and his moll. And lurking in the depths is the creature from the haunted sea.
You're a crazy mixed-up kid.
I am perfectly adjusted to my life of crime.
Don't worry, Mary Belle. I'll save you. It's all right. Be calm, everybody. The boat's insured.
That is so great. He really does look like my father. But the monster, it looks like a Muppet. That's very funny. I wonder how much that cost to make. Anyway, Carla's next campy pick is really bad. It's called Killer Clowns with 2 Ks from outer space.
It was a night like any other night. Then something happened.
Did you see that?
Something different.
It's no shooting star.
Why here? Why now? Why clowns? They've been knocking him dead all over the universe.
What are you gonna do? Knock my block off?
Soon they'll be doing it at a theater near you.
Killer clowns from outer space.
Pizza?
Maybe they're just cruising through the galaxy and stopped here for a bite to eat.
You don't need a police pal, you need a psychiatrist. They want to play games? They're messing with the wrong guy.
What are you in for?
Killer clowns from outer space. It's crazy.
That was great. That was John Vernon, the guy you recognized. They were actually shooting popcorn guns, and one of the lines from the movie is, "But they're shooting popcorn guns." Well, what do you expect? They're clowns. That's great stuff. For my pick this week, I'm going to highlight one of my favorite actors and a great movie for the whole family. I'm talking about the king of cool, acting icon Steve McQueen and 1963's Great Escape.
Hold on to yourself, Bartlett. You're 20 feet short. The hole is right here in the open. The guard is between us and the lights.
The movie, directed by John Sturges, is based on an actual escape from a German POW camp during World War II. It was actually filmed in Germany, and it co-starred James Garner, Richard Attenborough, Donald Pleasance, James Coburn, and more. But McQueen stole the show. It's easy to see why this cemented his status as a superstar. And the motorcycle scene? That was McQueen doing the stunt himself. No stuntman. How cool is that? Well, next week it's Oscar nomination time. I'll give you my take on who got what they deserved and who was, well, you know. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week on Bogart on Movies.